Why do I always do that dance in my intro? It's my expression. I don't know why I keep telling you guys about my jacket situation. I should just shut up about it. Oh! So I finally Googled about the camera thing that keeps cutting off. And basically there's no way around it, which is not good. So I've got to put a timer, and that's how I'll get around it, by putting a timer. I was gonna do a video today and I was in between these two videos and I went for the other one, but then a few things happened to me that really goes with this subject and I'm just so charged up about it. So I think it's a good idea that I cover this subject today while I'm fresh with these feelings. Okay. You know I'm already contemplating taking this jacket off, like, for goodness sake, why do I even try? Why do I try to put a jacket on every time? You don't know just how long I sat there really fighting it. But yeah, jackets off. Okay, so I'm gonna try and keep these stories really short because I don't know if it's just too much, and then we'll dive straight into the subject. Talking about hardships, meaning all the things that we go through in life that are difficult. What the heck? What are you doing? What is that? What the heck? What should I do? What? That's what we're gonna be talking about today. Well, firstly, I had a really bad experience with Amazon that was really stressful in my life, and it was really not good for my mental health and all these bad feelings in my body because of this experience with Amazon. And then I'm trying to book flights to Brazil. It's the first time I'm gonna be going back to my home country since I left it. I'm taking my son with me. We're going for a long time. And I was just rudely interrupted at how bad this world actually is. So the Amazon thing, I bought this like really expensive microphone, and then it turned up in one day after I bought it and it didn't work. And then when I asked for a return, they picked it up in one day. And then this refund, which was a big chunk of money that I needed, and I need to buy my son's textbooks and life is happening, like, and I need my money, and I'm used to refunds working very quickly. And in the email it says 7 to 14 days, but I thought that's just what all of them say because I'm used to, like I said, getting refunds like straight away. Anyways, God. This microphone was in transit for like 2 weeks and I kept calling them up, what's going on? It's, you know, as soon as we receive it, we'll do your refund. Anyways, 2 weeks went up. They still was like, oh, we only received it yesterday. Anyway, I started kicking up a fuss because I was like, you guys said this and that. So then the guy said, it's okay, I'm gonna do the refund today, blah, blah, blah. 2 days later, still nothing. So I called them back just to make sure the refund was processed. Turned out this guy didn't have authority to give me a refund, so it wasn't processed. But now this guy has the authority to do it. And by this point, it was way beyond 14 days since I'd returned this item. And I was explaining that to him, and then he tried to change it to 30 days. And I said, that's not what the email said. Anyways, I was just so very upset at how Amazon was just keeping hold of my money, not like any other time that I've ever had before, just keeping hold of this big chunk of money of mine. And you can imagine I got really upset. And only now, I think it's been like 4 weeks since the refund, or just under 4 weeks, do I have the money back in my account. Anyways, I really didn't like that because, as I said, I'm used to refunds being quick. This is just taking the piss now. It's been more than 14 days. You still have this big chunk of money of mine, like, and you're telling me that blah, blah, blah. It was all just a mess, and I really was upset about it. And then I was looking for flights to Brazil, and it was like 1,300, 1,400 for one person. There's gonna be 2 of us, and I'm like, what the heck? Just for 11-hour flight. And then the computer started saying to me, you have got 5 minutes because the prices are gonna go up after 5 minutes. So hurry, book this. Oh no. When I tell you, right, I started like swearing and screaming, and then my mum came up and she was like, what's wrong? And I was just like having a full-on meltdown because this is just so unfair. What? £3,000 for me and my son to travel to my home country. And then you're telling me hurry up because the prices are gonna go up. And then you're telling me £100 on top for my luggage, because then how am I gonna not even have clothes? I need clothes, but you're telling me I've got to pay extra to bring clothes? Because I really am very upset at how this world runs, because it's just so like evil. Oops. Like, isn't it evil to guys sit there and say, come on, hurry up, 5 minutes, otherwise the prices are gonna go up. So it's already 3,000 and now you're gonna say it's gonna go up. Like, isn't that a bit evil? Anyways, let's get into the video. So this world is divided into sections of types of people in class, money class. And it's so crazy that people that are poor in England are way better off than people that are poor in other countries. So in this world, you've got the really poor ones that maybe are in third world countries and they don't have homes, and it's quite common and happens quite often where people are just on the streets or they don't have homes. And in England, it's not that common. It's like, it's a bit different. So in third world countries, you've got those really poor people, they don't have much at all. And the concept of like going to school and having like a supermarket and having a job and being able to actually pay for things and work for things and have opportunities to do things, the concept of that is just alien to them. It's like, what? That sounds like heaven. You can do what? You can get a job and work and then go and buy things and then have like a nice dinner. You can do that? And to them, they don't have this access. So that's the real poor section. Then you've got the poor people in the first world countries where they are exposed to how good living looks like. So it's not a shock to them like, what, you could do that? But it's a shock to them if they get to do it because they're outsiders. They don't have enough. Their parents don't work. Their education is, there's no passion there. There's no people really helping those people, and they're poor. They don't get to do holidays. They don't get to do restaurants. They don't get to have new clothes, but they see everybody else doing it.
Oh no.
And they get to have food, even though like poverty looks different for different people. So that one would be starving of food, but then they will have some toys, and that one has, you know, you go without, but the access is there, but you go without, and somehow you've fallen below the people who can achieve and gain access to these things. And the education for you to be great is not really around you. And I've been in these places where the teachers are not passionate, they're not great. And then you go into these private schools where the teachers are like, yeah, and they're passionate, and you've got high achievers. And in these schools, in these areas where poverty really exists, the teachers are not really the same, and it's not the same access to the resources in the same country. So then in the first world country, you've got the working class, and the working class has a dial. You're either at the bottom or at the top. If you're at the top of the working class, you're living quite wealthy. If you're at the bottom, you're struggling, but nowhere near the poverty that I just spoke about in the first world country, because you do have money, you do have a job, you are gaining access, even though you're at the bottom of receiving goods for it. And then people at the top, they are living wealthy. They're gaining all the access and they're gaining all the doors, and so they're wealthy. Then, funny enough, you get the people who are just born into wealth, into money, into richness. And those people in first world countries are the ones who have full access to all resources. So their struggles will look way different than the struggles of a working class. And then above this rich, like born into money, we're wealthy. Yes, we work, but we're wealthy, and we can buy you a car, we can buy you a home, but I have a job, but it's just blah, 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 I own my own business. And then above that class is obviously the very rich people who money, I don't even know how they work. I've seen them, but I don't even know how their mind works in terms of money, because I don't think money is even a thing. Whereas for rich people, money is a thing. You still do budget. You still know that you've got to come in and take out the same. Whereas the very, very, very rich, small percentage, they don't have that problem. And again, you're most likely born into that position, because to get to that position can be done, but it's very unlikely that somebody poor is going to get to that billionaire top thing, even though it can be done. Ooh. Can I just pause there to say that sounds like a really, really bad place. That sounds really sickening. And we're in charge of that system. We're literally allowing it to be. And obviously the rich are probably driving the whole ship to keep it this way, but we are participating willingly, even though we're forced. We're kind of going along with it, like, oh, okay, this is what life is, oh, okay. Anyways, in the middle of all that class, you fall somewhere, I fall somewhere, and if you don't fall at the top, either at the rich or at the very rich, you're going to experience life like in difficult ways. And if you're right at the bottom, you're going to experience it all the time. And if you're somewhere in between, you experience it some of the time and then less of the time, and so forth. But this is why the hardships take place, is because of the money system that we have in place, where the rich exist and the poor exist. That's why we have hardships. Just because of money, of course. Why else would it be? I mean, selfishness, I guess, right? Because if money didn't exist, but we were still selfish with our gifts and our resources, but then it wouldn't be ours, and I don't know. Anyways, I guess selfishness has something to do with why we have hardships. My alarm's going off. telling me I've got to start a new video. So the hardships of life, I've been through like many of them. From worrying about losing a job, worrying about getting a job, worrying about how my manager's gonna treat me, worrying about a workload, worrying about my future and how to save for a home, worrying about how I do all of that and still maintain my home and my relationship with my son. The relationships around me take a toll sometimes. We all want different things and we don't know how to communicate them. We argue with people, we break down with people, we get angry at people and their behaviors. And behind all of this process, we either believe after we die that we're not going to exist, or that we're either going to go to hell or heaven, or we literally probably don't even think about it a lot of the time. Whereas me, I'm so obsessed with it that it probably crosses my mind every day. Like, what happens after I die though? Okay, not exactly that way, but you know. I bet you loads of people will tell you that the hardships that happen in life, even in relationships and the breakdowns of relationships and problems at work, all of it derives because of money. For example, if something was breaking down at work and you no longer wanted to be there, because of the money, you can't just leave. You're scared to just leave. When you know now, okay, I don't want this anymore, this is not what I want anymore, you can't. You have to make plans. And so you have to stay under places that you don't want to be in because of money. And same with relationships. If you need space from somebody, we have to think about, can I afford the space? Can I afford to leave this relationship? In particular me, I want my own place so bad. And can I afford to have my own place in London as a single mum who's now self-employed, pursuing music and the creative arts because that's what makes me happy? Can I afford to have my own place? I need it. I really need it. And the hardship is saying no. The hardship is saying you can't afford it. Why? Because of money. Again. And even arguments in relationships, a lot of those arguments are about the choices to do with money. What do you do with your money and how do we handle money? And if that goes wrong, then the relationship can break down because of that. Probably mostly it will break down because of that. And yes, there are other problems in relationships like jealousy and cheating and heartbreak and abuse and stuff. And actually I was going to make the point of saying it comes down to two things, the hardships, which is either is because you don't know who you are outside of this body before you're born, after you die, you don't know who you are. And two, you live in a controlled money system, and those two stresses is going to make anybody behave badly. You're literally living in hell. You don't know who you are and you're in this system of money that stop myself. Honestly, when I was trying to book the flights or look for the flights, I was having an actual meltdown and I was like, why is this okay? Why is this happening? Yeah, I was having a full-on meltdown. And this is what hardships look like, because somebody in the top rich percent, are they going to be crying about these flights? Are they going to be crying at the computer saying 5 minutes left to book? They're probably not even booking it themselves because they don't need the stress. And I could afford to not have the stress, and I can't afford that. I need to go through the stress, and so then money puts a lot of stress on the whole entire world. And not knowing who you are puts a lot of stress too. Anyway, we do get around hardships even in this system that we live in, where we don't know who we are and money runs the world. We still do get around hardships because we seem to love each other. So what comes to me for free, or what I have for free that doesn't cost me to share, if I see you going through a hard thing and you need that, I'm going to offer that to you, especially if you're my friend and you're my family. But we do have that in us, so as long as it doesn't cost me anything, right? Because if it costs me something, I'm like, oh no, now money's involved, but this is free, I have it, you need it, here you go. And that's how we survive. And we call this God answering our prayers, which technically, yes, because we are one, God answering our prayers, giving you my free stuff, and because it's going to help you. And that's how we survive in hardships, is by sharing our free resources that doesn't cost us anything. Because if it cost us, we will not be sharing lightly. My son just wanted a baguette sandwich. So the God of like religion that watches all of this, yeah, and then he's like, oh, I don't even know, because so many people say so many different things, but I guess somebody would say that God doesn't want this for you, but it's happening because of all of the bad choices of other people, this Apple thing of people sinning and choosing not good, that now we have to all suffer the consequences of people doing bad, but God doesn't want this for you, but you carry on choosing good, and you're gonna come with me and you're gonna be with me, but for now, sorry, this is happening. I would question that, because for me it's like, do you not have the power to stop this? And it's been going on for a long time, this like money system here in the world where people suffer because of it, this not knowing what you are, and everybody tells different stories about this God. How do I know which one is the right one? And you're not coming down from the sky kind of saying, this is who I am, this is the religion, this is what's going on. You're not doing that either. And everybody's saying different things about who you are, and you're just standing there watching all of this. And then here I am crying every day, kind of not knowing what the heck is going on. And what type of God watches all of that? That question leads me into a really dark place. So I try to stay away from it, because even the way I see life, I don't understand why life also does the same thing. It just seems to be really silent during the hardships, and it sends you that person who has this free thing, and everything ends up being fine in the end, but the process of it all is very silent and very hard and very arduous and difficult and stressful and hurtful, even though things turn out in the end. And I can't begin for the life of me to accept this existence. So then I have a difficult time with all of life because of all of the hardships, not only mine but everybody's, because that's how this whole thing started, because I saw somebody else's hardship and I was like, oh, we should change that. And my mum was like, you can't just change that. I was like, what? Anyways, in relation to all this God stuff and why it's all happening and why these hardships are all happening, I don't think we deserve it, and I think it's not how it's supposed to be. And the reason it's happening is because we are acting selfish, because we don't know who we are and we're not acting one. Again, I don't know why. Why doesn't God just come down from the sky and says, this is who you are, this is who we are? And I know, religion says that God is testing your faith. I would never test the faith of my son this way. I think that's very cruel, to test people's faith. I don't want to see my son cry just so he can have faith that I'm going to save him. Have faith in me, son. But why is this happening in the first place, mummy? I don't know, but God knows. But if I knew, I'll tell my son why this is happening. If he asks me why is this happening, I'll tell him like, oh, this is happening because of this, because I care for his mind, and the mind is what we're living in right now. So that God there that everybody paints, I'm just like, oh gosh, okay. But selfishness is leading this world, and so here we are in hardships all over the world, everywhere. And some people are lucky that they are happy right now, and I'm just pretending that I'm in your energy because it makes me happy when I see other people happy. So thank you for at least having a good time while the rest suffer. I don't know, that sounds like I'm being sarcastic. Oh. But this is why we have to change the world, because we all have to be having a good time, not just that person over there. And I'm not talking about partying good time, I'm talking about happiness. Anyway, so I'm losing my mind in this world. With all these hardships, I'm losing my mind. I lost my mind with Amazon. I lost my mind with looking for the flights. I lose my mind all the time. And not only in that sense, but in the literal sense of like, I don't get it. I don't get it. And I keep waking up here. Oops. And everybody's going through hard times. And we're all crying. And the petrol keeps going up, and the food keeps going up, and everything is going up apart from the money that we get. That doesn't go up the same. Doesn't match nothing. I remember when I was a kid, a Happy Meal used to cost $1.99. You know what? I think that was the price of when it went up, and I noticed that it went up. I don't think it was $1.99 when I was a kid. It was less than that. Do you remember when the double cheeseburger used to be 99p or 89p? Everything just goes up all the time. And where's the money? Where's the guarantee that I can have a job? Where's the guarantee that I'll keep that job? Where's the guarantee that I'll be safe at work and that people won't bully me or discriminate against me? Where's the guarantee that I'll be safe in all places at all times? Where's the guarantee? Faith? So faith doesn't cut it, because of, like I keep saying, or like I said, faith to me is a little bit sick in the head. Let's not do faith, let's do reality. Let's do reality. Let's make this whole world a beautiful place for all people. So let's get rid of money. I know it's gonna happen because it's the only logical thing to match God is if money doesn't exist. That's the only logical thing, because God is infinite and it gives infinitely without any type of exchange. So life could only mirror that. So money has to go. So I know it's gonna go. We need to figure this out, and I need to do a part 2 of that video, because I know that I missed a bunch of important things that if people are watching that, they'll be like, but you didn't mention this and you didn't mention that. I was like, oh, I should have mentioned all that stuff and I didn't. Like, where are people gonna live? All good? Good, good. Anyways, my dog is gone. I was gonna introduce him properly, but he's gone. because he smelt food and he was like, please let me go. Anyways, in the process of losing my mind, I'm very certain that we have to change this world, and that's just that. So let's change all these hardships. Let's all come together, carry on giving the free resources, and then let's just change this world. About time. Okay, I've said my piece for today. I'm now going to go and sing. So have a beautiful time until I see you again. Bye. As soon as I said bye, I noticed that Teddy was at the door. So I wanted to say, this is Teddy, Webby. I don't know if I've ever introduced you before, baby. Are you a baby, Bam Bam? Yes, you are. Okay, well, bye from me and Teddy. Bye. Who's your baby, Bam Bam?